Senegalese prosecutor is now calling for a 10-year jail term against the opposition leader Ousmane Sonko on a rape case that has sparked tensions in the West African country. Measles vaccination campaign has kicked off in the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern parts. The people of Jeffa in the commune of Semekboji are against the installation of a sand dredging plant in the locality. Good morning, our dear viewers. Welcome to today's news edition, coming to you live and direct from Golfe TV Africa here in the city of Cotonou with Hazel. Now to the news in detail, starting from the local scene. The people of Jeffa in the commune of Semekboji are against the installation of a sand dredging plant in the locality. Despite repeated reminders from the population and development associations, the local authorities remain insensitive to their content. Drilling. It is an unfortunate situation that the people of the village of Jeffa Hedome in the commune of Semekboji are going through a very tough time. Indeed, they are opposed to the exploitation of dredging sand by a foreign company at the antipodes of ecological standards. The local authorities and the elders of the locality say that they have taken all the necessary steps to understand the motives behind the exploitation of sand in their community. Executives have come to inspect the site, which cannot accommodate such a project. The sand exploitation site installed on a road to be repaired cannot function, insist some natives of the locality, including Matthew Sahowi. The communal administration is not according the necessary audience to the grievances and concerns of the people, who are alerting and calling on the head of state to come to their rescue. Sand dredging sites abound throughout the national territory without any respect for environmental rules and standards, to the great dismay of the populace. The project of dredging sand causes a high level of discomfort to citizens that live around the dredging sites. Still on the local scene, a capacity building workshop for actors in the train control industry of ships opened on Monday, 22nd of May 2022. Now, the objective of this training is to allow the actors of the maritime security chain to acquire new methods of maritime search. It opened on Monday, the 22nd of May in Cotonou, Benin Republic, 2023. Pardon me. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime 2023 report on transnational crime, it was noted that after the COVID-19 pandemic, the increase in transatlantic cocaine trafficking from Latin America to Europe through the Gulf of Guinea has increased by 35%. In order to strengthen maritime security and fight against illicit activities, a training workshop is being initiated for actors in the chain of control of ships in Benin. It is financed by the European Union through the CICOP project.
Des contrôles portuaires souvent insuffisants ou mal préparés facilitent ces activités criminelles et permettent de connecter les flux illicites.
Regular vessel checks that are not well prepared for inadequately facilitate criminal activities and allows illicit flow between South America, Africa, and Europe, thereby favoring criminal activities on the Atlantic Ocean. The autonomous port of Cotonou is situated in a critical point and plays a vital role in the sub-region and also in the financial growth of the sub-region's natural finances. Naturally, the location attracts criminals. In 2021, we had seized tons of heroin and cocaine. Thanks to the Beninese authorities, this shows that Benin is at the center of the fight against criminal activities on the waterways.
Cet événement marque un jalon important dans nos efforts collectifs visant à renforcer la sécurité maritime et à lutter contre les activités illégales en mer.
From 2019 till date, more than 57 tons of drugs have been seized in the sub-region, mainly by sea. If nothing is done, the state risks disappearing, according to the regional coordinator of the Seacorp project. This training, initiated by the national authority in charge of the action of the state at the sea, came at the right time, according to the representative of the Director General of the Republican Police. This event marks an important milestone on our collective effort geared towards reinforcing maritime security and the fight against illegal activities on the waterways. I want to express my gratitude to the European Union for their indefatigable support and their commitment to maritime security in our sub-region. The Seacorp project testifies of the fruitful collaboration between our two communities and a communal determination to protect our territories and our submarines and to guarantee free naval movement in a secured environment. This training of our naval forces is hinged on a major objective, which is the fight against criminal maritime activities, the fight against contraband on the seaways, the fight against drug trafficking and illegal commerce, and the fight against illegal fishing on our seas. It would permit us to reinforce our national capacity in the field of maritime surveillance, naval inspection, information gathering, and information trading, and enable that all the necessary requirements are made on ground to guarantee an effective response. This training, which is scheduled to take place from the 22nd to the 26th of May 2023 in the hotel in the area, includes the attendance of people like the Republican Police, custom officers, sailors, and other actors. Crossing over to the news in brief, 6 people have been killed and dozens of whom washed away in floodings in central Afghanistan, local authorities stated on Wednesday. Now, in Pasaban district in the same province, a man and a woman were also swept away and later found dead, while another person remains missing, stated the officials. In Pasaban district, the same province, a man and a woman were swept away and later they were found dead, and further persons are still missing. Crossing away from the news in brief, going back to the local scene. Like several roads in a state of degradation in our communities, the section that passes in front of the police station of Zoka in Abomey is a cause for concern for the Beninese populace. Now, there are trucks parked as well as other acts that create insomnia for the local population. For information in the following commentary. In some parts of Benin Republic, the first phase of tarring the road has been done in some parts of the city that have been given preferential treatment. With the redevelopment of roads in several districts ongoing, one of the most traversed roads in the district of Abomey and linking several public infrastructure is located in a quiet town and remains in a high state of degradation, causing major difficulties to road users. We are here in the district of Zoka, in the street in front of the central police station of Abomey. Almost all the road users have expressed the danger they experience daily by passing through this road. Christian Asogba, a pensioner and a resident of the area, is sorry about the state of the road, despite the amount of investment made by the local residents themselves. Sadly, the street is sometimes used as a dumping ground for damaged vehicles. In view of the situation on ground, the residents crave the indulgence of the mayor Angelo and the government to take a good look at the road and find a solution to the state of the road. It is urgent that the government and the communal authorities relieve the pain of the populace by proceeding to repairing the road infrastructure and bringing happiness to the resident and inhabitant of the Zoka community. Crossing over to the news in brief, a scammer in China used artificial intelligence to pose as a businessman's trusted friend and convince him to hand over millions of yuan, authorities have said. Now, the victim's son named Guo received a video call last month from a person who looked and sounded like a close friend, but the caller was actually a con artist using smart AI technology to change their face and voice, according to an article published on Monday by the media. Now, the scammer was masquerading as Guo's good friend and perpetrating fraud, the article said. Guo was persuaded to transfer $609,000 after fraudsters claimed another friend needed the money to come from a company bank account to pay the guarantee on a public tender. Crossing away from the news in brief, moving over to Senegal. Senegalese prosecutor is now calling for a 10-year jail term against opposition leader Ousmane Sonko on a rape case that has sparked tensions in the West African country. Highly popular among young people, Sonko has branded the trial a political plot aimed at scuttling his bid for the 2024 presidency. Senegalese prosecutor is now calling for a 10-year jail term against the opposition leader Ousmane Sonko on the rape case that has sparked tensions in the West African country. Highly popular among young people, Sonko has branded the trial a political plot aimed at scuttling his bid for the 2024 presidency in Senegal. The trial was adjourned early Wednesday with a decision expected to be handed down on the 1st of June, according to the president of the criminal court, after the latest hearing lasted into the early hours of Wednesday morning. The trial resumed on Tuesday after the court rejected pleas by Sonko and his co-accused for an adjournment after he failed for a second time running to attend the legal showdown. Sonko has been charged with rape and making death threats against an employee of a beauty salon in Dakar. Sonko, age 48, has said he went to the salon for a massage for a chronic back pain and denies any assault. The compliant maintained her accusations in Tuesday's hearing, saying she had been abused 5 times by Sonko. She also said she had received death threats. Sonko's trial opened on the 16th of May but was immediately adjourned until the 23rd of May after he failed to attend the trial. He stated the reason that he feared for his safety, and he said he would not appear in court without state guarantees for his personal safety. Sonko is believed to be in the southern city of Ziguinchor, several hundred kilometers from Dakar, where he is a mayor. If convicted, Sonko risks being ineligible to run for presidency in Senegal. Sonko, the president of the PASTEF-P Patriots Party, came in third in the 2019 election against incumbent President Macky Sall. Sadly, Senegal is traditionally a beacon of stability in troubled West Africa, but in recent years, Senegal has been buffeted by turbulence that has at times turned deadly. When Sonko was arrested in 2021, several days of protests left at least 12 people dead. 3 other people died during clashes between Sonko's supporters and police ahead of the start of proceedings on the 16th of May 2023. Political tensions have also been stoked by Macky Sall's refusal to rule out running for a 3rd term as president, a move that his opponents say would be unconstitutional. Macky Sall of Senegal was elected in 2012 when the presidential term was 7 years and re-elected in 2019 when the mandate was reduced to 5 years. A polio and measles vaccination campaign has kicked off in the Democratic Republic of Congo's East Africa. Field health workers in Northern Kivu province are set to vaccinate some 87,578 children aged between 6 and 59 months. A polio and measles vaccination campaign has kicked off in the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern part. Field health workers in Northern Kivu province are set to vaccinate some 87,578 children aged between 6 and 59 months. The week-long campaign, which started on the 20th of May 2023, targets pre-selected localities. If families are unable to reach those sites, they should be visited by the vaccination teams. Polio is a highly infectious viral disease. Measles also highly contagious. It is a serious disease caused by a virus. Both polio and measles are particularly deadly among children under the ages of 5. The vaccines for the 2 diseases prevent deaths. If the immunization coverage in the Democratic Republic of Congo has progressed particularly thanks to the Mashoko 2.0 plan, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said this year, saw a particular virulent measles epidemic in Africa. The humanitarian crisis remains very acute in the country. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, this year saw a particularly virulent measles epidemic. The United Nations Office reported 1,800 deaths due to measles in the year 2022. Crossing to the news in brief, Iran has named an ambassador to Saudi Arabia, state media reported on Wednesday, sealing a thaw in a relationship more than 7 years after the regional rivals' severe ties. Now, the new envoy, Alireza Enayati, previously served as Iran's ambassador to Kuwait, assistant to the foreign minister and director general of Gulf Affairs at the foreign ministry, the English language Iran Daily stated. Back to Ethiopia. Thousands of people displaced by the conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region staged protests on Tuesday, demanding to be able to return home and calling for the withdrawal of invading forces, local media reported. Thousands of people displaced by the conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region staged protests on Tuesday, demanding to be able to return home and calling for the withdrawal of invading forces, local media reported. Demonstrators in several cities, including the regional capital Mekele, shouted, "Stop the ongoing genocide," and they held placards demanding they be allowed to return home before the famine season gets underway. It is not known how many civilians died in the two-year war, but one expert puts the number at over 500,000. Many of them died from starvation. Although the fighting ended with a surprise truce in November last year and humanitarian aid is being restored to the region, numerous challenges remain to cement the peace in the region. Eritrea's army, as well as military forces from the neighboring region of Amhara, played a key role on the Tigrayan battlefield in support of Ethiopian government forces. Amhara forces still control western Tigray, a disputed region claimed by both Amhara and Tigrayans, while Eritrean troops are also believed to have a presence in the border areas. About 90% of Tigray's 6 million people, who were largely cut off from the outside world during the conflict, rely on humanitarian aid. Protesters said they want to be able to get home before the rainy season so they can plant crops and grow enough food for their families to eat. The head of Tigray's interim regional administration said last week that his authority was committed to ensuring those displaced are able to return home. Away from that, northern Italy remains on alert after severe floodings washes away hillsides and roads. Stranded residents say the landscape is unrecognizable and fear their homes are on the verge of collapse.
Used to be a road. Now it's just a muddy mess. Franco Fabri is waiting for it to be cleared. He has a house on the other side of the mountain. Heavy rains and floods nearly a week ago triggered a landslide, snapping electricity and water supplies in his village.
In my memory, nothing like this has ever happened before. You have to go back 100 years.
Fabri was in another village when the landslide hit. He's safe, but he doesn't know when he can get back to his house. Like Fabri, thousands of residents here in the Romagna province have met a similar fate. Massive floods have brought down torrents of mud and debris down the mountain slopes, smashing roads and bridges and cutting off communication links.
We're trying to get to the village of Modigliana, which has been cut off for days. The road leading to it is blocked because of partial damage to the road ahead. The police won't let us through, so now we're going to try and get in with a rescue team.
We drive in with Carlo Marchi, a volunteer and former chief of the local fire service. Many of the hamlets are still isolated, and people are still being evacuated. The mayor, Yada Dardi, says the village spent 3 days entirely cut off from the outside world and now needs to restore roads and infrastructure.
Abbiamo un'altra priorità.
The other priority is to restart jobs. Agriculture has been devastated because fields have cracked and roads don't exist. Some fields have literally collapsed. This year will be a terrible year for agriculture.
Quindi quest'anno sarà un anno terribile per l'agricoltura.
Dardi says more than 250 people have been evacuated so far. Some of them are housed in this shelter.
As of now, the main challenge is the anxiety and tension that is building up in people who are here. They're worried about if and when they will be able to get back to their homes. And it affects us as well.
Andrea Laghi lives in the emergency shelter. He comes to check on his home daily. He fled with his family when the land started caving in on either side of his house. He says the landscape is now unrecognizable.
You will always have the fear that the land will give way again and the house could collapse and that you have to flee again.
It will take a while before residents here can trust the ground beneath their feet again.
To end this news edition, here's a recap of our top stories. Senegalese prosecutor is now calling for a 10-year jail term against opposition leader Ousmane Sonko in Senegal. We also saw that a polio and measles vaccination campaign has kicked off in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And concluding with this, the people of Jeffa in the commune of Semekboji are against the installation of a sand dredging plant in the locality. Before I conclude today's edition, let me leave you on these words to ponder on by Nelson Mandela. Now, what counts in life is not the mere facts that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we have lived. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Hazel. Enjoy the rest of your day.